Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? My name is Rob Carmona, and welcome back to another episode of Rob the Mic. So, the last week has been all over the place, but it's been really exciting at the same time, and it brought quite a few things to light. Was already thinking about, like, okay, next week, I had an idea of what I was going to talk about, but I didn't really know how to structure it or how to go about it. And I came across something that kind of helped me structure everything. And I was like, all right, this is it. This is how I'm trying to talk about these things. This is how I'm trying to go about it. And it was cool because it just kind of fell in line with what I wanted for this week. But starting last week, everything, I think it was kind of in good spirits. It was all over the place, especially with the Dodgers taking the World Series. And I may not be the biggest sports person, and a lot of y'all may not know that. Maybe you do know that. I'm not sure, but you know it now. But the thing is, with the Dodgers, that is a team that is definitely near and dear to my heart. I've been around the Dodgers since I was a kid. I've been a fan since I was a kid. One of my uncles was actually a scout for the Dodgers. So I was always around it. I couldn't get away from it, whether I was at the field, in the dugout with the team, or just kind of running around, or just literally being at the stadium for whatever reason. It was a lot of fun. And so for me, growing up, it's always been really special to have moments like that or to share things like that, and especially with my family. So the fact that the team had made it to the World Series is already a big deal, and it was exciting in itself. And again, I'm not going to turn around and be like, oh my God, I'm the biggest fan ever. But again, what I will tell you is that the Dodgers have a special place in my heart, and it means a lot to me, and it means a lot to my family. So for everything the way, or I guess like how things transpired, it kind of set the tone for the week. And it was really exciting, right? Like taking the win, going through the whole process, and honestly, being really proud, like as if I'm already not proud to be from LA and to be just kind of where I'm from, right? Like this means a lot to me. I know it means a lot to everybody who's listening and watching, who's also here, like from California, from LA. It means a lot to you, especially if you're a fan. But I think what the coolest thing was is going to the parade. And I went with my buddy Jay. And Jay and I, we were kind of iffy on it, and we were thinking about it. And I was like, oh man, should we try to go? What do we do? Right? But this is going to be a historical event that it'd be kind of cool to be a part of. You know, go take some pictures and just be there. Like, I don't need to be in the front line. And I know he didn't need to be either, but it was like just to be kind of in that energy, in that field, in that ambiance, right? Where everyone's just wilding out. Everybody's wilding out, but honestly, for good things. Like people weren't out here doing dumb shit, and it was kind of cool to see that too. Like, granted, some things did go down here and there, but with all things being said, all things being considered, it wasn't anywhere near as bad as it could have been. So I feel like we really handled ourselves proper, which was cool, and it speaks to the team, right? Like I think people kind of took that into account, and they were like, hey, you know what? We can't really fuck around, wild out, do dumb shit because the world's looking at us, right? This is a big deal. People see this and they look down, or they look and they don't want to, you don't want to kind of put that image into people's heads. So it was exciting to be a part of Friday, especially, and to see how positive it really was, because being there from a firsthand like account, right, that you guys are getting this from, it was fucking sick. It was the coolest shit in the world. Like it didn't matter where you were in the street. It's like we all had this thing that we were there for, and it was just positive, and it was fucking go Dodgers, and just everybody wilding out, dancing in the street, laughing, you know, sharing drinks, like, you know, people passing out beers. Like it was crazy, and it was something I'll never forget, ever. Like I've never seen, first off, I've never been a part of something like that. Like I've been to music festivals and seen things where it's a lot of people for a lot of different reasons, but you're talking about one fucking thing, one team, and somehow it like unites a city. It unites all these people. And there was an estimated, I think it was like 250,000 people. To be honest with you, I feel like those numbers were wrong. Because if you were in those streets and you kind of knew what was going on, and you have an idea of how big the fucking city is and how many people were flooded in there, it's like, oh nah, dude, there had to be way more than that. And if you saw any of like the aerial views from what was going on, whether it was on the news, on YouTube, people just who had like random drones and showing their footage, you'd probably also think the same thing where you're like, nah, dude, there's way more than a fucking 250,000 people here. Way more. But there was something so sick about it, you know? So Jay and I parked in the art district, which for those of you guys who know about that entire area, you know how far the district is. So from the district to, let's say, Walt Disney Hall, it was like a little over a half an hour walk. And that was us like kind of booking it, you know? So it was a really far walk, and it's a mission to get there. But the thing is, they had a ton of the streets closed off in LA. And granted, there's parking all over the place, and there's structures, and there's this, there's that. But it's like, why would you try to get into downtown when everyone's in downtown, right? Closing streets off. You got people walking all over the place. And it was wild. Like, even when we were walking, to see people try to drive into the center city, it's like, what are y'all doing, right? Like, as the light's changing for people to continue crossing, or for people to cross, you're talking like crowds of fucking people. So it's like, for you to make a right or a left is impossible. And it was like that everywhere. But we parked in the district. We walked our asses to, actually, we were right in front of the Broad, like where the Broad and the Disney concert hall are. It was the coolest shit in the fucking world, honestly. Just to be there, to be like all Dodger geared up, and to be around people that are just good vibes. Everybody had speakers playing different kinds of music. Yeah, some people playing bachata over here, banda over here, people playing hip hop, like all kinds of stuff. You know, some dude going around like he was listening to Red Hot Chili Peppers, and everyone's just vibing. Kids, like people, dude. Honestly, the coolest shit was to see the diversity too. It's like the amount of Latinos that were there was insane. And I feel like, to be honest with you, a lot of the Dodgers fan base is heavily Latino. It's not all Latino, but it's a pretty heavy amount. But it was tight also to see that, and just to see people of like all walks of life, different races. And it's like, damn, bro, like we're all here. We're all here for one thing, and we're all here to have a good time. And that's what was sick. And it's like, I wish people would look at shit like that and really take notes. Because it's not necessarily about the sport. It's about how we come together. And again, all walks of life. Dude, there's people out there, it's like balling out of control. And there was people out there that probably missed work today, and they probably shouldn't have, because now they don't even know if they're going to be able to pay rent because they missed that day, or, you know, all these different people. And we're all there for one thing. It's like, we're here for the Dodgers. We're here for a good thing. We're here to take pride in our city and to show the world, like, hey, we out here and we doing it, you know? And a lot of people talk shit about it too. But if you watch the World Series from game one, you already knew what it was about. And I'm not going to break the whole thing down. But again, you knew what it was about. You knew what time it was. And we came out on top. We came out on top. And for me, like, it makes me very proud. I'm very proud. I'm very happy. As if I already wasn't to be from this city and to be a part of this culture. It makes me even more proud. It makes me even more happy to show that. So it was really exciting. But it meant so much to share that with Jay. Right? Because those are things that he and I will be able to talk about for years to come. Forever. And we're over here taking pictures and videos of everything. And then I was like, hey, dude, we got to take a picture. And he's like, dude, you're right. So he and I take a picture, and the moment I took it, like, I felt so good about it, because I was like, fuck, dude, this is sick. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to have a baby in a couple months, and he's going to get to a certain age where when we're taking him to his first Dodger game, that we're going to be able to talk to him about stuff like that. Like, oh, dude, you know, years ago, your dad and I went when the Dodgers won the World Series, your dad and I went to downtown. We're over here running around the streets, going crazy, celebrating with all these people. And like, look, here's a picture of us. And it's things like that we forget, right? And how often do we talk about it on the show, where I'm like, yo, document everything. Take pictures with your homies. Don't just take pictures of the shit that you're doing, the food that you're eating. Turn it around. You know, people might be like, oh, that shit's mad corny, where you're sitting at a table, all of a sudden somebody turns and you're taking a selfie with your homies. That shit is everything. Because all those people who do shit like that, they have the things that they can look back on. And I get maybe not doing it all the fucking time. And there might be a time and a place, but find your moments to do it. Find your moments to capture those things because nobody can take that stuff from you. And granted, they're your memories too, right? It's not that you have to document this shit. I think it's just me because I always run around with a camera, whether it's just on my phone or I have my actual camera with me or I'm doing something. Like, I love documenting all of these moments in every way that I can. Like, I love candids. I love all these things because those are what I'm always going to carry. And even when I go through and I'm editing photos and I see homies in the background or I take pictures of my homies, it's like I'm immediately transported back to that moment. So at least for something like this that was so special, I have something that can take me back. You know, I have photos, I have videos of the whole situation of Jay and myself. And just remembering that day, like it was fucking sick from the like morning up until we finished out the night. Just wilding out. And then like, dude, even after the parade, we're kicking back. We went to go get some grub. And we went to the spot called Lazy Dog. Moment we walk in there is just a sea of blue. Everybody's all dodgered out. And you had all these people. What was sick is the whole restaurant's like talking. People were obviously talking with each other, the people they're with, but everybody was kind of interacting. And I was like, yo, I've never seen some shit like this. This is kind of wild. You have all these strangers sitting at all these random ass tables being like, oh, dude, did you go to the parade? Oh, did you go to the stadium? Blah, blah, blah. Talking about their experience and this, and that. Oh, dude, that's a sick ass hat or that jersey. And just, I don't know. There was something so special about it. And you're like, again, I've never seen or been a part of something like that. And I'm like, this is the shit that fucking people need to experience, man. Things to take them outside of themselves. To just be like, yo, this is what it is to be a part of something bigger than you. And I'm not saying it has to be sports related. I think it can be anything. You could experience this shit through cars. You can experience it through art. You know, whatever you do. It's like we were talking about a couple weeks ago, right? With the whole Comic-Con thing. All these people come together to share a love that they have for like this fandom. And it's like, yo, I love this anime. Oh, you love this anime? Oh, that's sick, dude. Or, oh, yo, your costume is fucking sick. Or your cosplay, excuse me. Like that whole thing. It's just, you come together for something and it's bigger than you and you enjoy it. And so for Jay and I to experience this, that's what it was. And again, I know what it means to my family and I know what it means to just the organization in general to have the support of us, right? For us to be a part of it and to want to continue this thing and to keep shit moving. It's like, damn, this is sick. But again, it meant so much more than just going to see the Dodgers. It meant so much more than seeing them win. It's the memories that get made around that. And it's for myself. It's for the people around. And it's like, you see all these people with like their kids on their shoulders and you're like, damn, bro, some of them, like obviously if they're old enough, it's like, they're going to remember this for their entire lives. This is crazy. This is fucking crazy. And I loved it. So that set a tone for the week, honestly. And I felt, it just felt good. There was something about it. It felt so fucking good. And the way it rolled into my weekend was really nice too, because it was my grandma's birthday on Saturday. And my mom and I were trying to figure out what to do for her and just trying to get things kind of situated, right? And one of my aunts was like, yo, let's go get brunch. So we went to go get brunch, chilled out. It was myself, one of my cousins, my tia, my tío, my grandma, grandpa, my mom. So it was small, super intimate, but it was sick, dude. She had a margarita. She was enjoying herself. They had like a little mariachi that was there. They were playing some music for us. And for her specifically, like songs that she wanted to hear. And it was tight just to share those kind of laughs and share all those little things, those little moments, right? And that whole day was beautiful. The fact that we all got to eat together multiple times, which is really rare. Like we don't get to do that very much in my house. Because if I'm out working or I'm out doing stuff or someone's doing something, like it's rare that we can all sit together. So it kind of made me think about it all. And I was like, oh shit, this is it. Take advantage of it, right? And also it's like, dude, it's my grandma. I got to take advantage of all the time I can. Because I don't know. I don't know what can happen. I don't know what can happen to me. It's not even just her, right? It's like, I could fucking leave the house and something goes down. It's like, I'll never experience any of these things ever again. Like, you never know. Life is crazy. Life is hella short too. And you don't know. And I'm not trying to like take this down like a dark hole, but it's like, you never know when your time is up, right? But with that being said, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think you have to You have to enjoy every fucking chance you get, every moment, everything. Doesn't matter if you're going with the homies to get tacos or if you're just running errands and you're with the homies or just bullshit. You go meet up with a couple people in a parking lot. You know, like last night was 240 Tuesday. It was my homie Sid's birthday. We're over here having drinks, kicking back, laughing, telling stories, making people laugh. And it's like, this shit, again, these are the things that it's all about. It's not that complicated. Life is not that complicated. We just make shit way more difficult than it has to be. But going back to Saturday, my grandma really enjoyed herself because she was surrounded by the people that she loved the most. She got to have her little pastelito. You know, we sang her happy birthday a couple times because she had a couple cakes. And it's like, this. What more could I want, dude? What more could I want? Especially for her, because it's her day. And as a family, again, the fact that we got to experience that, it's like, this is it. And I know it was hard for her, especially because this is her second birthday without her son, like my Uncle Alfredo. And it's like, it doesn't get easier. I think you just kind of learn to cope with that situation. And we were all emotional that day, right? Because we think about him all the time. I mean, I think about him every day. Like, even if it's very brief, like I think about him every day because I see his pictures in my house every day. It's hard to not process that. I can't just walk past it and not think about him. So like, I know with my grandma it was tough. And that's how we want to show her extra love on those type of days. Because it's like, look, we know that you're sad about him not being here anymore, but he's here. You know, he's here. He's in all of us. We all have a piece of him. And we do that. Like, we keep him alive when we tell stories. We talk about him. It's like I said this too a long time ago here on the podcast after he passed. I feel like, and even with Waxer too, like I know I mentioned it. It's like the people who pass, it's not a bad thing to say their names. It's not a bad thing to talk about these memories. We got to keep these people alive. And the only way we can do that is if we continue telling these stories, if we continue these kind of like these legacies, you know, about them. And it's like, oh, this, and this. Oh, they used to love that and blah, 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 blah. And this, and this. That's what it's all about. Keeping that type of shit in a positive way, right? And you had Dia de los Muertos también, where we honor the people who have gone before us. And that's also a really amazing thing to watch and to see how many people have kind of adopted that. You know, it's really cool to see out, like, especially on Instagram over the weekend, how many people made altars. And, you know, and they're putting their flowers and the pictures of people who've passed, people, you know, their loved ones and things like that, lighting candles and all this. And it's like, there's something so beautiful about that comes from Latino culture that means the world to us, right? Because there's so many aspects of not just the life that we are living in this conscious world, but there's things that are bigger than us, that are beyond this world, that we honor and that we look to and that we respect. And to me, I think a big ass part of it is the respect part of it, right? Where it's like, you went before us and now you're watching over us. And it doesn't matter what you believe in. It doesn't matter what you pray to, whatever. It's just like, there is something that is bigger than us. And regardless, you kind of have to have a respect for that. You have a respect for something that is bigger than you. And it's like, well, things happen for a reason. I don't know. When you miss somebody and you care about somebody and they're not there, it's like, you can show your love still. Again, think about them, talk about them, tell stories, all these things. So this weekend, it was very emotional. It was very, very emotional for multiple reasons, you know? And even with the Dodgers, like talking with my grandpa, because his brother was the one that was the scout, and him talking about, you know, us going to games and them going to games and just talking about baseball and his love for baseball and his brother's love for baseball. And that was tough for him. And then we're all sitting here just kind of listening to him, just being like, damn, dude, this is shitty, right? But it's also really beautiful because you got to experience these things with him. And obviously myself, I got to experience some things like that too. And I'm just like, that's cool. Nobody can ever take those memories away. But we had to keep it going. So the weekend was incredible. It was incredible all the way through Sunday. I got some drinks with a friend of mine Sunday night, just talking, laughing. And I let myself really live in the moment. And I don't do that very often. I don't let myself do that. I don't let myself really enjoy myself because I'm always thinking about shit. Whether it's work or how I'm going to get this, how I'm going to advance here, what am I going to do next, blah, 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 blah. And even my grandma scolded me. It was yesterday, actually. I was about to take off for 240 Tuesday. And she's like, "Are you going to work right now?" I'm like, "No. I'm going to go be with Sid. It's his birthday. We're just going to go spend some time together, hang out." And she was like, "Good." She's like, "I need you to relax. Like, I want you to relax." And I'm like, it's just hard. Like, it's hard to shut off. It's hard to just turn everything down. I think especially when you own your own business and you work for yourself, it's a very different mindset compared to working like a 9 to 5. I think you get to kind of shut off and do your thing when you have a corporate job, because it allows you to kind of separate those spaces where it's like, from these time frames to these time frames, I am here. From this to this, I am there. I don't necessarily have that. So I feel like I'm on 24/7. And because a part of my job, like, I carry with me on my phone, I'm always interacting. I'm always doing something. But I wanted to really shut off last night. And it felt good to do that. And it felt good to do it on Sunday. And we're just, turn my phone upside down, put it on the bar top, and just enjoy the company. And just, let's laugh, let's talk, let's have drinks. Like, let's listen to this jazz music that's playing, at the bar. And it's like, this is sick. This is what it's about. And I'm trying to, as I feel like I'm always kind of restructuring my life. I'm always trying to shift and do things and see kind of what benefits me, right? Because I don't think the progression that we experience is linear. I feel like we have to learn to just kind of go with the flow of life. And some things might tell us to lean more one way than the other, and so on and so forth. But our needs change constantly. You might need more love here. You might need more of this there. You might, you know what I mean? And you have to be able to tune everything out and listen to yourself. Like, you have to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and tell, like, okay, like, what do I need right now? What the fuck is going on? And it's simple shit. It's like, hey, maybe you just need to make a sandwich. Then go do that. We have to be aware of those things. We have to let ourselves feel those things and experience that. And this last week, I've been very much in that space. And it's nice because I feel like I kind of was getting lost for a little bit. And like, not in necessarily like a bad way, but I feel like I was kind of starting to like lose reign of certain things. And I'm like, all right, well, maybe I'm supposed to lose reign of certain things because it's not for me. Maybe I'm not supposed to hold on to that rope anymore. I should kind of let up, because I think that's somebody else's problem now. But these things that I do have control of, and that I actually love, and that I need, and that are nurturing me, nurturing my soul, maybe those are the things I should pull in closer, because it seems like that's kind of pulling me in a better direction. So that's what I'm trying to be aware of. So when I was going through trying to think about how I'm going to go through this podcast, what we're going to talk about and all this, as if we already haven't been going at it for a while, but I always try to just talk about shit, right? Certain points, certain things. And I read something and it had 6 points on it. And I said, ooh, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, because it fits so well with what I wanted to talk to you guys about. And let's just jump into it. Let's get into it right away. The first thing on that list was to rest in nature. And I can't even tell you guys how many times I've talked about this, but how much nature means to me and what that reset does for me, to go and to be in the forest, to be in the mountains. The desert's one thing, it's also special too, but there's something about the mountains and the forest and the trees, and seeing lakes and just kind of being around that type of greenery and just in that space where I feel so fucking small. It humbles me and it resets my entire system. I feel like a different person. And it's the best. It is the best for me. If you've never experienced it, if you've never been, get your ass in your car this weekend and fucking go to the mountains. Just go find like a simple hiking trail, get lost, go experience some shit that you've never experienced before, because it's going to change your goddamn life. It is. I know some people are probably like, dude, it's not even that. But you say nah, because again, you've never experienced it. And maybe you've also never let yourself experience it, because there's a thing where you can go places and you never let yourself enjoy the place, right? You really don't sit in it. You really don't accept how big things are around you, that you're a fucking speck on a mountain right now type of shit, that you're looking up at a tree that's hundreds of feet tall and you're like, fuck, dude, if this shit was to fall on me, I'll fucking die. I'll be a whole ass pancake right now. Like, that's what I'm talking about. For me, I need that perspective. I need to just kind of be humbled all the time and just reminded, like, hey, you're one speck, but keep it moving, keep it pushing. Because look at everything around you, how much it's flourishing, how much it's just kind of pushing on its own. And it's created this beauty that you're in right now. And let yourself do that. Let yourself grow. Let yourself, if you need a bigger environment or it needs to change, allow yourself to experience that change. Allow yourself to move and go somewhere that will maybe let you experience the change. Right? And that's where I feel like I'm at right now in multiple aspects of my life. Like from a love perspective, from a professional perspective, from a family perspective, there's so much that I'm trying to move because I need to. I feel it. There's something inside me that kind of pushes me a certain way. And it's like, I got to listen to that. I got to pay attention to that. I got to allow myself to grow and give myself the space to grow, because it's like, maybe I don't have it anymore. Maybe this pot's fucking too small. Like, I can't grow. I got to replant myself, and I got to put myself in a place where that has the space for me. That's not going to stop me. That's going to nurture me in different ways. And I'm not saying that nature needs to be it, but it is a big part of it. That's why I think it's the first thing we need to talk about, because for me, it does a lot. And it's cool because thankfully with my truck and like a lot of my other homies, like Sebastian with his Jeep, like we get to go places that, again, people will never see in their fucking lives. You know, I've shown people pictures of the shit that I've seen with Sebastian, and they're like, bro, where the fuck is that? And I'm like, dude, it's on this off-road trail that unless you have a certain type of vehicle, you ain't gonna get there. You'll never see it, ever. You might see things that are like it, similar, blah, 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 at certain points. You won't get to that point, though, because we almost flipped on a boulder trying to get there, or we almost flipped basically going vertical trying to get up this fucking wall. But this is the shit that we saw. And it's, I don't know, I feel like it's kind of like reminiscent about like on life, where it's just like, you know, a lot of shit can be really fucking difficult and it's terrifying. You're going to put yourself in situations that are fucked up. You're like, why the fuck am I here? What am I doing? And then you end up on the other side of that and you're like, this is why I did it. This is why I'm here. So I can see some shit like this, experience some shit like that. So it's cool. You got to let yourself go. But there's something about resting in nature and allowing yourself to be that's so beautiful. And we need to constantly remind ourselves that. Make the time for yourself and find your quote unquote nature. Find that thing that allows you to be more yourself and that kind of resets you and recharges you, every part of you. Not just physically, mentally. I'm talking about your soul. Like what sets your soul on fire? What lets you kind of simmer down and like be in it and just let it burn for a while? Find that thing for you. Because for me, again, nature is a huge part of that. And I'm very, very lucky and very fortunate to have experienced these things, because now I can talk about it a certain way. And I know as time passes, I'm going to continue talking about it because it means a lot to me. And I have a lot of things that are like nature, but there's something about nature specifically that it burns a different way for me. You know what I mean? Like it makes me feel more myself than really anything out there. It's a beautiful thing. The next is listen to music. Or like I've been not like in a funk, but I've been just kind of on this like music journey. I've been listening to all kinds of shit lately. And Friday, I think being at the parade and just kind of hearing all kinds of shit at the same time, I was like, this is sick. Like, I love this. I let myself just kind of be there, and somebody, again, playing bachata, playing banda, playing Red Hot Chili Peppers, you know, all kinds of shit all over the place, and just kind of letting myself, you know, move and groove about the streets. And I'm like, this is it. This is it. This is tight. Same thing, yo, being at the restaurant on Saturday with my grandma, the mariachi singing to her, and just kind of letting myself listen to the music and be in it and let that kind of flow through me. Let that vibe kind of take over a certain way. You know, last night we're kicking it at 240. Somebody was playing music, kicking it. And it was just like me and the homies. And by the end of the night, we're all just right there, like kicking it, moving and grooving in the parking lot. And I'm like, yes, like this is the energy. This is what I need right now. Music does so much for you, and it's so therapeutic. I think if you let yourself fall into it, not even sometimes, I think all the time, let yourself fall into it. Dance, sing, do what you got to do. There's something so good about it. It like nurtures your soul. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what you come from, what your background is. Music, what language you speak, it kind of transcends all of that. And the same thing that I experienced on Friday, it like brings people together, right? The same thing that ideas and sports and all these things bring people together. Music does the same thing. I think it's a universal healing type of shit. And I think you got to do it. Let yourself do that, right? The third thing was to capture experiences, like we talked about earlier. Capture all of the things. Don't just shoot your food. Shoot the people that you're eating with, right? Like, yo, take your selfies, do your thing. Doesn't matter if you look like a fucking dork, like a nerd, whatever you want to call it. Those are your memories that you want to remember. And people don't think about it like that. And then later on, they regret it. And they're like, fuck, dude, you know what? That one time we went to that one restaurant, we should have taken pictures. That was a great night. And that was the last time we were kind of all together like that. There you go. Right? It's like even when Rob and I recently, we went to Oceanside to go pick up some car parts for him. And we're walking on the pier, chilling out. And I was like, hey, fool, we got to take a picture. And it was crazy how that happened too, because when we were walking on the pier, we saw that there was a bunch of names on the pier, like on the wood. And for some reason, out of all the spots, we stopped in front of this one spot, took our picture. We looked down at the wood, and there was like there was a name like that, but it said Rob. And we looked at each other and we were like, what the fuck, dude? There's probably thousands of names on this bridge right now. Thousands. And we stop here. And that's a part of the story now. It's like, dude, we stopped. We took our picture together. And then we ended up in front of this one spot. And it's just like, what? Like, what are the odds of that? And I know it might not seem like a big deal to you guys, but it's a big fucking deal because it's tight. It adds to the fucking story and how dope that shit was. And the fact that we got to sit there and watch battleships fucking float past us, you know, and see badass like Apache helicopters just fucking flying in the sky. And you're like, what the fuck? This is sick. And be there with my boy and his car that makes him feel so fucking good right now. And it's fucking sick to watch people trip out about it. Because when he airs out, that shit's on the ground. And it's just like, dude, this is sick. We got to capture everything. So again, take all the pictures you can. Pictures, video, whatever. Record and take all the things. So you can remember that shit forever and ever and ever. To talk about it forever and ever. Because you need it. We need it. We need those good memories, those good things. It's nice to be able to reminisce on shit, you know? Smell the flowers. That's the next one. Stop. You gotta be able to stop and let yourself be in the moment. It's the same way we were talking about it with resting in nature. Take your time. Allow yourself and see that if you really think about it, flowers take their time, right? They do their thing. There's no schedules or there's seasons, right? And I think as people, we also have seasons too, right? Where we change, we kind of start to shed our leaves. We grow a little bit more. Sometimes, we need to take our time and slow it down a little bit. But eventually you bloom. And when you can appreciate that process, I think you can start to appreciate your life a little bit differently because you allowed yourself to stop. You allowed yourself to grow. You watered yourself. You nurture yourself. You give the things that you feel that you need the most because nobody's going to give them to you. Nobody. People will help you achieve certain things and maybe they'll help you feel more yourself, whether it's friends, partner, family, whatever it may be. But ultimately, you have to be in the space where you can allow yourself to receive these things. And sometimes to allow yourself to receive these things, you have to just stop. Let yourself be. Just kind of sit in the stillness. But smell the flowers, sit there, take your time, enjoy these moments with these people around you. Enjoy the moments with yourself, not even with other people. Just enjoy your own time. I think we need to learn to be alone and be happy to be alone and accept just kind of our minds, accept our, like everything that we offer to ourselves. Because how often we talk about it? Every night, regardless if you sleep next to somebody, you sleeping with yourself. You're in your head. You're in your thoughts. If those things aren't good, if you're not in a good place, what do you think's going to happen, right? Things are just going to kind of trickle out and you're going to stop. You're going to stun yourself from doing certain things and experiencing certain things in life. So let yourself be. accept that kind of peace. Let yourself sit in it for a while. It's nice. It's really, really nice if you do it. If you don't do it very often, take my fucking word for it. Let yourself live. Stop and smell the roses. You hear that corny ass shit all the time, but when you actually do it, you understand how important it is to let yourself do it, right? Make art. I can't stress to you guys enough how important it is to let yourself be creative in any way that you can. It's not that you got to go out there and paint a mural. It's not that you got to go and draw a picture or whatever, but express yourself from time to time. If you want to start drawing, you want to try shit, go do it. If you already do art, let's say you take pictures, you do video, you draw stuff, you tattoo, whatever, go do that. You like restoring furniture, go do that. Like whatever art you like to do, you like to make jewelry, go do that. Allow yourself to do that. We as people need to be creative. We need to let that creative part of ourselves out. I think putting a lock on it, you kind of suppress yourself. And it's like, you never know. You learn more about yourself every day. That's what I think. And in this life, I think it's your life at the end of the day. Like you're meant to learn everything about yourself. What it is to fully let yourself be. And I think a part of fully letting yourself be and live and experience this life is to make art. I think we all have something to offer. I think we all do different things, cooking, baking, anything. Any sort of way you can express yourself is art, right? And some people, it might not mean that much. They might not think they have any sort of, oh, I'm not talented like that. I'm not talented like that. But it's like, but you do this. And that in itself is an art, whatever it may be. I feel like everything has an aspect of art. And I think people take it for granted. I know for sure, like I did for a certain period in my life where I didn't let myself be creative. I didn't let myself do anything. And now that I'm in the field that I'm in the career that I'm in, I'm very fortunate to express myself daily. Whether it's through photography, whether it's through graphic design, whether it's through type design, anything that I work on, branding, whatever, I get to express myself. I get to be a part of something that it's like a little part of myself, but I'm getting to just kind of spread it a little bit. But I love it. It makes me feel more myself than really anything. Getting to make art and getting to do these things, work with my hands. I think that's one of my favorite fucking things is working with my hands. I love it. Whether, again, it's doing type design and actually like drawing out or doing graffiti, or I'm doing fabrication and working on a car or whatever it may be. It's like those, I need to let myself use my hands. Like these are my tools. These are my prized tools. It's like aside from my mind and just kind of letting myself be, man, I love working with my hands. And I need it. I need art in my life. And I know a lot of you need it too. So let yourself do it. Express it. Doesn't matter if you're good, doesn't matter if you're bad, whatever. Practice makes perfect. That's what I always say. And I know that's corny as shit. And I know you're probably like, whatever, fool. It's not that simple. It is. Let yourself do it. Practice. Fuck around. Who's to say you're not good at something, dude? Oh, you're not fucking Pablo Picasso. Oh, you're not fucking Michelangelo. Who gives a shit, dude? If that shit makes you happy and you like doing it, so go fucking do it. Go do it. Those other people can fucking suck a dick. Fuck all those fools. They ain't shit anyway. They're all sitting right there all sad and fucking not expressing themselves, not letting themselves experience life, not loving, not living. Fuck all that. Fuck those fools. All of them. Every single one of them. You don't need people like that in your life. They can kick rocks. It's all good. Let them figure their own shit out over there. You keep doing your fucking thing. That's the shit that matters. It's your goddamn life. Nobody else's. And don't let people tell you how you can live, how you are supposed to live your fucking life. Right? You got to dictate that shit. And the last thing, with all of that being said, design your soul. That can be super fucking deep in itself. And I was like, damn, how do we even do this, right? Like, how do we talk about this shit? And I think designing your soul consists of I think there's a few things. I don't want to get into it too much because it also touches with this week's advice. And that's what I'm looking at right now. And I'm like, you know what? No. But look, you want to live your most authentic life that makes you feel complete, right? You want to be happy. You want to find things and lean towards things and lean into things that make you happy and feel loved and feel full. Nurture that part of yourself. That's why I say you want to curate that, design your soul. It's important. As I've gotten older, I've noticed these are the things that I have to do. I have to not just design for my job, but I have to design my life. I have to curate my life because I like certain things. Certain things feed my soul. Curating certain people. Hey, I need these fools all the time. I need my Albert, Yessie, Sebastian, Jay, Sabrina, Rob, Sid. Like I need my people, Zoe, all of that. There's tons of people I could fucking list out. Brianna, the list can go on for fucking days and days and days. All of my people, it's like I gotta pull them in. Like, all right, I got y'all right here. I got my art, I got my things. This shit feeds my soul, makes me feel good. I got my cars, makes me feel good. Do this, do this, do this, do that. That's what it's about. Take the time to design these things for yourself that make you feel good, that make you feel more yourself. Because you feed your soul. Continue feeding that. Because you're the only person that knows what you need. Sometimes the homies and people that you love might be able to come in and say, hey, you seem like, I don't know, something's a little bit off. Like maybe you need to kind of do this a little bit more. Maybe you need some more of this shit. Maybe you need some more time to yourself. Oh, hey, you know what? You're right. Sometimes, again, the right people can step in and tell you what you need. Sometimes, not all the time. But when you curate these things and you design the space around you, it starts to change and things kind of flow differently. They work differently because you just kind of, what's up. People around you know what's up, right? It's tight to experience shit like that. So do that. And now for this week's advice, celebrate your passions and design your soul purposefully, right? And the 3 things about that. 1, you want to live meaningfully. Create a life that you feel is beautiful and live and stand by that. Stand by the things that make you who you are. Stand by the things you believe in, everything that you love. Because that's the shit that makes you who you are. And that living authentically is living meaningfully. People can say those are different, right? And they kind of are to a certain extent. But at the same time, it's really not. It's really not. You want to live with meaning. Share that. Spread that. Be that. Stand by that. Be a beacon for those things. So when people think of you, that registers. When people think of love, they think of you. When people think of caring, they think of you. Selflessness, whatever it may be. You know what? When I think of fun, when I hear music like this, when I do this, I think of this for. I think of her. I think of this, whatever. That's creating meaning. And stand by that. Live by that. That's what we need. That's the type of shit we need right fucking now. Because you know what? Everything is so fucked up. And we're not going to talk about politics. We're not talking about any of that shit right now. But if people were to just create a meaningful life, I think it would have a way bigger impact on the way that they lived every fucking day. It would really change shit up. So do that. Live meaningfully. Second thing, spend time on experiences and habits that align with your values and contribute to the person you want to become. Right? Again, like focus on the things that make you who you are, that make you happy, that feed your soul in a positive way, that give you more energy so that you can exude more light. So you can stand there and people can sense something. They can feel it. They're like, ooh, you got an aura about you. You got something about you. I love when you're around because you're so positive. You're so like this. You're so like that. That's beauty, right? That's a part of it. That's that inner, that outer. There's something about you. You create these things that when you spent the time working on it, it shows. And this type of shit, it shows. Your habits, create good habits, right? Eat right, get your rest, do all the things that you need. You do your skincare routine, what makes you feel good. Create those positive and good habits. Those things they lend to your life. They lend to a better living. So continue on that shit. Don't let those things go. And your values. Fuck with people who fuck with your values, right? It's crazy how often we end up in situations with people that we don't really fuck with. And we think we need to have people like that around us, right? Whether they support certain ideals, support certain things. And it's like, that speaks more about you than you speak about yourself, right? If you support these types of groups, you support this type of activity, you support these types of things, it's like, shit, if you support that, like you really stand behind that, you're dead ass this kind of person. You're really like that. You're a fucking scumbag. And it's like, oh shit, that speaks to you more than anything that you talk about. Because this is secretly who you are. This is actually not even secretly. Some of these people be putting this shit out and about, and you're like, ooh, little did I fucking know you were a grade A scumbag. You know what I mean? Shit like that. Pay attention to those things. Curate that shit. Shift things out. Life and people are like puzzle pieces, right? They're all like Legos. You kind of change stuff out. I don't like this one anymore. This shit doesn't fit too good. Okay, we got to go this way, this way, this way. Boom, boom, boom. Now it works. Build something that's meaningful. Build something that is good for your soul, right? The last thing, cultivate these practices as they become the foundation of a fulfilling life, right? It even goes with the end of what we were just talking about, right? Like contributing to things that will lend to the person that you want to become. And when you cultivate and you allow time for these things that feed you, that feed your soul, that is good for you, it creates something amazing. And you end up creating a life that is beautiful and that is full. People, things, and places that have fed something so incredibly beautiful. And it shows because you allow yourself to bloom. You allow yourself to grow. We need to be aware of those things, especially in today's day and age, where so much suppression and so much silence is pushed upon us. Don't speak this because they're going to judge you. Don't do this because they're going to judge you, or whatever it may be. It's like, well, what the fuck, dude? You weren't put here to stay quiet. I'm not saying you got to run out in these streets and wild the fuck out, pushing your ideals, pushing your this, pushing your that. But I think what you should be doing is living to your most authentic self. And if you think people are going to judge you, fuck them. Those aren't your people in the fucking first place. Motherfuckers are going to sit there and judge you. Those sons of bitches can't even live their fucking life. They can't even live and be true to themselves. How the fuck are they going to sit there and judge you? Right? Think about that shit. How is somebody that lives a certain way and that allows themselves to sit in this suppression, to sit in this kind of, in this darkness and kind of let that shit, somebody else dictate their life? You gonna let them fucking dictate your life? That's bullshit. That's bullshit. You fucking put your boots on, you step the fuck up, and you make shit happen and put yourself first. Put your priorities in fucking order. Do what you need. Put your heart, your soul, your mind, your body first before anything else. Because, right, if you're not good, how the fuck are you going to be good for somebody else? You know, it's like RuPaul said. How are you going to love somebody else if you can't love yourself? That's one of the most beautiful things I ever heard. And that's a fact. Love yourself. Put yourself first. Experience life the way you need to experience it. Allow yourself moments. Don't judge yourself and say, oh my God, this is horrible. Whatever the fuck. No. If it makes you happy, live and be authentic to yourself. That's the only person you owe it to. It's one thing to make people proud, make people happy around you, but live authentically. Be your true self and allow yourself to do that. This is a beautiful thing. At the end of the day, when shit goes down, you don't want to be sitting there laying down being like, fuck, dude, just full of regret, full of bullshit. Like, nah, I lived and I'm living right now. So do that. Stay on top of it. Just let yourself breathe. Let yourself go. Be patient. Experience life like that, right? Just let shit happen. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today, for listening, for watching, however it is that you take in this podcast. It means the world to me. I know I tell you guys on a weekly basis, and I'm going to continue to tell y'all on a weekly basis because I appreciate the fuck out of every single one of you who listen, who watch, who share, who comment, who interact, who text me, who call me, and whatever about the podcast. It means the fucking world to me, and y'all mean the world to me. So I appreciate you. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, an amazing week, an incredible weekend, and I will catch you guys on the next episode.